Hey everybody, it's Tim again. And first of all, I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it. Channel's growing fast, and that's great. That means I can keep bringing you more of these great, cool movie toy reviews. And if you have subscribed to this channel, you'll know that I've already reviewed 4 figures from NECA's ET line. That they have put out again for the celebration of the 40th anniversary of the landmark Steven Spielberg film, and there are the boxes there. But today, I am going to focus on something that I have been waiting a long time for. Ever since this thing was announced, it's like, oh my gosh, E.T. on the bicycle with Elliott. And it is something, again, that I think just completes the collection. I want to thank NECA for providing this sample for me to review for you. So let's start with a quick 360 look at the package. Again, they're going with the retro style packaging for this, meaning that it looks worn. But again, this is a brand new package. It just, looks worn around the edges. I mean, hey, they're celebrating the 40th anniversary of E.T. Now, E.T. is one of my all-time favorite films. Obviously, again, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Henry Thomas, who of course plays Elliott, starring Drew Barrymore as Gertie. And like I mentioned before, I've been fortunate enough to talk with both of them in interviews over the years and mention E.T. to them naturally. So, it's really been a thrill ride. So what I'm going to do is pop this out of the box so you can take a look at the NECA's E.T. 40th anniversary look at E.T. and Elliott with the bicycle. Okay, here's the look at the package. It's pretty big, when you look at it in comparison to the package that we have for the 7-inch scale, I guess you could say, ET figures. If we want to open this up, what you're going to get is that classic profile shot of Henry Thomas riding the bicycle with ET. And of course, we're getting a lot of reflections there, so we're going to get rid of that once I get this out of the package. And of course, there's a close-up shot of the figure, both figures, I should say, because we do have E.T. in the basket on the bicycle, along with the young Henry Thomas there. And it's a wonderful display piece. Of course, you'll notice they have the background of the moon, which has turned into a movie logo, of course, for Steven Spielberg's films. So, this is really a nice package. But as you all know, if you followed this channel, I like to open these things up and display them. So let's give this a pause and get this thing out of the box. Okay, here's the E.T. and Elliott with bicycle NECA figure that's out of the box. And again, I want to thank NECA for sending along this review sample so I could take a closer look at this figure and bicycle and the E.T. figure with you. Let's start with a 360 look at this without the light. There we go. And everything is just as it looked in the early photos of this. The prototype and the final product matches up nice. Of course, that's our big hope, right? How many times we get action figures that don't quite look like the characters? But in this case, there's no question that these figures look like the young Henry Thomas and E.T. from the film. Now, of course, these are a lot smaller than that. This is the 7-inch scale figure. For example, this is of the Ultimate ET. Now, again, I reviewed this on the channel with the light up heart light figure. So this obviously isn't in scale with it. I think things would probably get too big, maybe too expensive if you went with that bigger scale. So instead, they went with this smaller scale. This almost looks like could be like a 5-inch figure if you could take it off and pose it. But hey, you know what? That's okay. I really think that it looks terrific and probably worthy to invest in this. Now, I've seen online prices run in the $40 to $45 range, depending on where you're looking at it. I have seen it at brick and mortar as well, so you can get the figure there. So that's nice. I mean, ET's got obviously a huge fan base, so you're going to want this thing to be available everywhere. So just trying to give you a better look at that. Not much articulation as expected, but Elliott can turn his head. And again, I'm just trying to get a nice close up here that's in focus, and sometimes that's not so easy. There we go. Yeah, I mean, that's Elliott right there all the way. And I hope Henry Thomas adds this to his collection because it will probably bring him wonderful memories from his youth. Okay, and then let's see if we can get a better look at the ET figure. And seems a little bouncy there. There we go. In the basket as well. Okay, take that out a little bit there. And as you can see, this is removable. So underneath these faux wrappings, you do have an ET. Of course, he's being hid because Elliott wants to get away from those evil people from the government, whoever wants to capture ET. So he's trying to disguise him the best he can. But that pretty much looks like that's it for the articulation. You can see his head turns, so he can check out the intersection, I would imagine. Bicycle, as you can see, I have there are little stands on here, but these wheels actually do work. Okay. You can't necessarily turn the handlebars, but that's okay. Okay, but the wheels do work, and I would imagine if you want to take these off, you can do so and try to run this on the ground and see if you have any luck in keeping the thing upstanding. But they also come with this little motorized thing if you want to actually see Elliott and the bicycle and ET move on the ground. Now, one other thing before I add it that I want to note is that there is actually a standee with the moon, so you can pose this figure in that classic pose of ET's silhouette across the moon. So that's pretty cool. That came in the box. Okay, let me see if I could just move that here for you and give you a 360. There's really not much to look at with the back, but what you can see is that this is a piece that folds down, okay? Folds out, and you can push that down. And then in the back, there's not necessarily anything. But when we get this thing around, what you're going to notice is that there are a couple peg holes, so you can actually pose the bicycle up across the moon to get that classic pose. And here, what am I doing? I just knocked ET out of the bicycle. Okay, so we're going to stop there. See, like so. And obviously, we're going to tilt the camera. And not quite as wide a shot as you get from the actual film, okay? But the effect is definitely there. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, show you what this thing looks like when it gets mobile. And then we're going to eventually pose this on the box, on the standee that was included in the box for this deluxe figure from NECA. Okay, we're back, and as you can see, I put this little motorized thing down there. It just connects to part of the bicycle pretty easy. Parts aren't delicate. They're nice and firm, so you don't have to worry about any sort of breakage at all. And I'm going to give this thing a whirl. Not too heavy of a push here because, well, you pull it back and then you let go, and it drives. I don't want to do too much because it's going to end up just driving off my table here. But you can see that, well, let's give it a little bit more than that. Whoa, yeah. So I would imagine if you pull this thing far back enough, it's going to give you a much longer ride. But you get the general idea here. Again, last thing I want to do right now is have this go whirling off the table. Okay, so I'm just giving it just a little bit of a pull back here just to give you an idea, just to show you how it moves. And it moves pretty well. Okay. So again, this thing has a lot more torque than I'm showing off here because I'm just being very, very cautious. Okay. So if you are interested in doing that, you can do that. Again, I think this is more of a display sort of figure, But I'm just going to show you a quicker look at this little motorized thing that attaches to the bicycle. Again, very, very cool. You can hear that whizzing, right? Okay, so yeah, this thing will definitely motor if you let it. But again, I am being very, very cautious. So what I'm going to do is take a pause and come back and pose it on the moon. And here they are, Elliott and ET with a bicycle, released from NECA. And look, man, this is this is a very nostalgic thing for me. I mean, obviously, it's an iconic scene from the film. Again, it's an image that most people identify with when they think of ET, especially with that bicycle going with the silhouette across the moon. So to replicate that in some sort of way for NECA, man, this is some really inventive thinking there. So I am so glad that they went with it. Now you're wondering how this is being held. I don't know if you can necessarily see it, but there are a couple peg holes in here, and then they attach to the frame of the bicycle. But again, what a terrific idea to display your figures instead of just having it just as a regular old bicycle sitting there. I mean, what a better way to do it than to actually put Elliott on the bicycle with ET as they fly across the moon. And man, again, I love it. I think if you're an ET fan, you're probably going to want to invest in it. Again, 40 to 45 bucks is the price range I'm seeing right now, brick and mortar, online. It's available a lot of places now. So go out and get it and complete your ET collection. And with any luck, we're going to get some more replications of iconic scenes from the film. My name is Tim Lammers. I review cool movie toys on this YouTube channel. Again, thank you to all of those who have subscribed. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click to that button on the lower right corner below. Otherwise, please click my picture at the end of this video, and that's another way you can subscribe. Like this video, share it with your friends, all your ET loving friends. Again, I review everything. It looks like I'm big into nostalgia on this channel. Obviously, films like E.T. that are 40 years old, or NECA's got a great Universal Monsters line that I keep doing reviews of different releases, and they're coming out at a pretty good clip here. I have the black and white classic, ultimate classic Count Dracula in Bela Lugosi's likeness coming, so you can watch out for that as well. So, until next time, thanks for your time, and thanks for watching, and happy toy hunting.